Good morning, everybody. How you been doing? I know, I'm sorry. I haven't been here. I've been busy. By now, everybody knows I've formed TimmyNation.org. It's an organization to eradicate racism on social media, and that's the base of the platform. But it's going to do way more than that. It's going to hopefully stop racism, visible, blatant racism everywhere. So, of course, it's a group effort. Um, Everyone knows that they can send me their stuff on TikTok and Instagram of racial behavior in their workplace or in their neighborhood. We will find out who these people are and we will make sure that they are dealt with. Okay? Now, to be clear, because I think my mission is getting a little mixed up, I don't do personal vendettas. That's not what we're doing. Because you heard some white girl use the N word a week ago at a party, that's not what we're doing. We can't eradicate that. That is a character flaw in them. And now, if they work with you and that's their attitude, then we got a different story. But you getting my point, though. You can't just because it suits you that day that you want to be vindictive and ruin someone's life. That's not how this shit works, because I had to get lawyers and things, and we have to make sure we're not defaming people. Yeah, can you believe it? Racists have rights. Go figure that in America. They can use racial slurs and act a fool and still turn around and sue you. Who knew? Yeah, so I have to put protections in place because this is not popular work. Oh, yeah, it's not popular work. But you know what? I'm up for the task because I realize who I'm dealing with. When you know you're dealing with a coward, anyone who'll call you out your name to your face or behind your back and then use empty threats, to me, that's the pure definition of a coward. Someone who is afraid of you. And there's no distinction between old racism and new racism. There just isn't. Now, we're all under the umbrella of systemic racism because the government's policies have been designed unfairly to favor white people. Now, we are being re-educated to that fact. Some of us slower than others. But I think we need to go back to school, get re-upset at how history was whitewashed. I get upset every day. It's like this for me. Yeah, I had to call and up my medication because I'm not clock tower upset, but I'm upset to the fact where you get the side eye when I think I heard you say something remotely racist, because it's in everything that they say, every action, everything is steeped in racism. And because it wore us down over 400 years, it's just not talked about in general conversation. But when you think about it, everything is racial. Everything. And you decide what upsets you or not. And we've allowed white people to have so many passes on systemic racism because we just said, oh, well, that's just how it is. Don't have to be that way. You don't have to be that way. Every law, every policy, everything is geared in a racial slant. The whole system is not built on fairness. It never has been. It never has been. And every time we as black people get to where we're comfortable and feel that we've achieved the American dream, even though there's so many roadblocks that were placed in front of us, they move the goalpost. They move it higher. So poor white people can feel more adequate than you. It's a game we're never going to win because they keep changing the rules, because we have people in government who keeps changing them. They're doing it with voting rights every day, every election cycle. No, there was a higher percentage of black people that voted in this district, so no, let's redraw it again to leave out that group So they have to y'all, they've been doing this for 400 years. The minute the slaves were freed, they started fucking with the game. Healthcare, for example. There's no reason why America shouldn't have universal healthcare put in place. Every other civilized nation has it. No. No. It was done on a racial slant. They didn't want black people. Why should they have healthcare? We don't care if they live or die. They used to be slaves a week ago. What the fuck are we doing? Everything has a racial slant. Okay? So through the 60s, we wanted equal rights. Well, wait a minute. We freed them. Isn't that equal enough? No. So every time they raise the goalposts. We build wealth in every city: Chicago, Tulsa, Jacksonville, New Orleans. What they do? They burn it down, massacre, slaughter, move the goalpost again. This game we've been playing for years. 4 years. And we've been allowing it because we have been allowed to be shell-shocked. We've been allowed to fall for the okie doke. And we've done it to ourselves. Sure, we had a black president. In fact, they'll even use that as an argument. Well, you have a black president, there is no more racism. It don't work like that. Because while Barack Obama was president, you had a white majority Senate who fought him tooth and nail to get fairness passed in America. Everything that he had to do, he had to executive order. And then you even bitched and moaned about how that was unconstitutional. Personally, I just don't know what it is that they're afraid of. If you're so secure in yourself in yourself as a man and what you're doing, what do you care what your brother man is doing down the street? Because his house is bigger than yours or his job is better than yours. You have to use that silent thing called racism to put him in his place. Oh, we see what you're doing. We see what you're doing. Since you can't actively burn down black neighborhoods anymore, you do it systematically with government policy. I'll give you an example. Back during the Reagan years, Reaganomics, you all tried to put the black woman's face on the problem that is the welfare situation. Yeah, you did it. It's statistical facts and it's facts. You did it. You made it impossible for black people because you said she was a welfare queen. You said she was gaming the system. She's a drug addict with all of her 7 children and she's using the money to... Not so. So you know what the black woman did? She got off welfare. She got a job. She took care of her family. And you know what you did? You paid her 50 cents on the dollar to her white counterpart, and she still thrived. So you know what you did even then? You moved the goalpost again. That's what y'all scared of. You're scared of the resilience that is African Americans. We've only dealt in the cards that you're dealing us. And you know what you're discovering? You're not any smarter or any better than anybody else. Everything you have, you stole. You don't even have the right to use the name Caucasian. That's right, look it up. Caucasia is a city, a country in African region somewhere. Look it up. Look it up. Oh yeah, I've been doing some reading. Yeah, Timmy reads. I'm just sick of the bullshit. You know, now there's no such thing as reverse racism, but what I am is angry. And yeah, a little upset. And one might say a little prejudiced because, you know, you can't confuse prejudice and racism. You can't confuse those two. You know, and that's what we've stopped doing, is reading, finding out what words mean. Look them up. I encourage everybody to just look. If you're feeling something, look it up first before you say it. I'm no longer going to look like a fool. I'm going to always know what I'm saying when I say it out of my mouth. I can't always make that promise because passion, overtakes you. But I will tell you this much. I'm going to always know what I'm talking about. Or I'll go in back and look it up and come back and tell you what I meant to say. That's that we get into these one-sided arguments because white people, what they say is just right because I've said it. They don't want to fact check. They don't want to do. I mean, look at this White House, for example. It's this fool's still thinking that it's going to go away. He said this, what, a day ago? It is killing folks out here in these streets. Now, whether you Democrat, Republican, black, white, up, down, if you're not wearing a mask, then I ain't got no words for you. Now, that's one thing that I can say that we're all in here together, no matter what your political affiliate. Now, Trump has made it political. And you could tell who's a Trump supporter because they're walking around in these streets with no mask on. So to that I say, we don't need you here. You're taking up air that don't belong to you. Because you don't give a shit about me. I'm wearing a mask to protect you. It's a vicious cycle. A vicious cycle. So if they want to have these rallies, I'm all over the place, y'all. I know I am, but that's the point of the rant. I know you can't keep up, and I'm sorry, and I haven't been here in a while, so I'm all over the place. I try to focus, but I don't know. I've only had one cup of coffee. It is the morning. I'm out on the lanai. But I guess my central focus is we're never going to beat racism. We have to find out some way how to rise above it. We've already learned how to be 3 steps ahead of them, even though they change the rules. I think that's what the problem is. They're realizing through the 400 years of trying to suppress us as a people, we still manage to become billionaires and live in affluent neighborhoods, and they can't figure that shit out. Let me give you a tip. We were never stupid. And if you would have left us in Africa, most of our ancestors in Africa, you would discover that America would be basically a third world country because don't take this wrong, most white people don't read. They just naturally assume they know everything without checking their facts. See, we have to read. We have to be 2 steps ahead because we're already going to be lesser than just because of how we look. So the shit that comes out of our mouth has to mean something, to which gets discredited as, you don't know what you're talking about, because it's a fact that you don't want to deal with, like racism. And yeah, I'm going to use white, I'm going to use black a lot, because you know what? That's just what it is. There's no other way around it. There's no way to speak about it. And just because you've painted Black Lives Matter on a door or written it in chalk on a sidewalk, thank you. Thank you for your effort. But you do realize it goes deeper than that. The fight is, you got to vote these fuckers out. Black lives, they do matter, but they have to mean more in policy. These little culture wars everyone's having at these rallies about if Black Lives Matter or White Lives Matter, it's just lip service. It's got to be bigger than that. Thank you, though. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. I only talk for 15 minutes. I know I haven't been here in a while, so I may do another 15-minute session this afternoon if I don't get busy. Follow, click the little button down below if you like my little conversation. I just ramble. There's no rhyme or reason. There's no theme. I'm just chatting. If you like to hear me talk, thank you. You know, I like to think I have something to say, like I said before, but, you know, I don't really elicit comments unless you want to add to the conversation down in the comment section. But thank you for that as well. I'm not a provocateur. I just home on the pandemic. I'm not back at work yet. Chilling. So, thank you guys. Till next time.